Alright, welcome back to the channel, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at a little bit of horror. The season of horror is nigh, bringing a trio of Warhammer horror titles. The season of Warhammer is a chance for fans of Warhammer to creep into the most sinister aspects of the Dark Millennium and the Mortal Realms, with a selection of spine-tingling tales. Last year we unveiled the Bookkeeper's Skull, Gothghoul Hollow, and the Accursed. And this time around, we've got yet more amazing treat in store. Read on to uncover 3 new Warhammer horror titles, all coming early next year. There's the novel Black-Eyed Saint by Dale Lucas and 2 anthologies, The Resting Places and Unholy Tales of Horror and Woe from the Imperium. So very interesting. Read on to uncover 3 new Warhammer horror titles, all coming early next year. So this is a preview literally months in advance, as we're just now coming up on Halloween. So very strange they would put this out in advance of Halloween but not have these available, as you know, seasonally this is the time. So we have the Black-Eyed Saint. Cool piece of cover art here. Obviously some super creepy stuff going on in the background. Very, very awesome looking. And then, obviously a couple of tough looking peeps in the front there. Very cool ornate armor, little gun action. Looks cool. Black-Eyed Saint is a horrifying tale set in the Mortal Realms by Dale Lucas. Dale is no newcomer to the Mortal Realms. With 2 cracking Warhammer Age of Sigmar novels under his belt, God's Bane and Realm Lords, along with a host of short stories. In Black-Eyed Saints, things promise to take a turn for the darker. We can't wait. A girl stumbles across the moors, death hard on her heels. To her saviors, she speaks of Calignus, a small shroud mining town deep in the mountains that has been gripped by a strange epidemic. Now, Runar Skoldorf and Tiberius Grimm must lead a small expedition into the haunted vales of the Bloodrack Peaks to answer this girl's pleas for aid. There, the hunter and the veteran priest of Sigmar will uncover the enigma of a forlorn-looking statue and its curious sway over the town, a place ruled by ancient fear and phobia, zealotry and madness. Separated and isolated, Runar and Tiberius will learn there are far worse fates than death, for in Calignus, friendships turn sour, faith boils into anguish, and long-buried nightmares rise up from the shadows. If they are to survive, they will need to find a way to unite against the demons that divide them. So pretty cool little excerpt out of the book there. Definitely got a little spookiness to it. Doesn't tell us a ton about what's actually going on. So next up is the first of 2 horror anthologies. The Resting Place features the work of many Black Library favorites, including David Annandale, Richard Strachan, and more, and tales set across the worlds of Warhammer. You know, one thing I do really like, and it's super subtle, most people probably don't even note it, I like that they shout out the authors. Not just for like us personally, but also just to give the actual authors credit. Really do like that. Gotta give Games Workshop props on that. So next we have the Resting Places, a collection of Warhammer horror stories. See, this would literally be perfect for Halloween. As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'll read this right now. So here's what to expect. An irascible veteran conceals a monstrous secret. A young victim of tragedy seeks the protection of their mysterious lord. On a feudal world, 2 men plot against the governor, suspected of heresy, and in the pitch-dark skies, a malign entity preys upon a navigator. From the slaughterhouse of the Imperial hive cities to the war-torn streets of the Mortal Realms, superstition and deceit runs rampant. Twisted sacrifices, beguiling foes, the lies we tell ourselves. These horrors drag their victims, blind or screaming, down sinister paths to a final place of rest. The final horror offering is Unholy Tales of Horror and Woe from the Imperium, an omnibus that brings together a quartet of Black Library horror classics. So we have the Unholy Tales of Horror and Woe from the Imperium. Amid the bloody wars, cults, and tyrants of the Imperium, a far quieter horror lurks. Volghast is an entity that compels and corrupts. Darker than the pits of hell, incomprehensible as death, it seeps into the hearts and minds of those weakened by misfortune. A premature heiress grieving the loss of her family. A bleak man of faith with unquenchable desires. A woman whose broken memories replay terrible violence. A little town left to rot in a sun-scorched wasteland. In this chilling collection of Warhammer horror fiction, Volghast claims the victims of this vast and lonely universe, and the malicious intent pushes them to their limits. I feel like that last paragraph should be, read in a regular voice, though. It seemed like the first part was like narrating, and then it was just like, and a note, but also in the same text. All three of these titles land in early 2023, so make sure you're subscribed to the Black Library newsletter. So yeah, really disappointing to see that they have like a horror series or group of books coming out, but not coming out until the beginning of the year. This would have been a perfect opportunity to have them out for Halloween or in advance to Halloween. As I know, I'm like super seasonal, so I get into like all the different holidays, get excited about them, and I want the creepy stuff around Halloween, etc. I think overall, I like the idea of this one. The Wrestling Places, a collection of Warhammer horror stories. So I like that it's a collection of them. Doesn't say a lot of details about any of these though. There are 5 authors listed right here, and it says and many more afterwards. So I would imagine we're talking 10 or 20, something like that. Uh, Interesting. And then the final one, they kind of describe it, and they do say specifically brings together a quartet of Black Library horror classics. So 4 of them. I wish it did give some more specifics though. Especially as somebody that's never read any of these, but I can imagine somebody that has previously purchased or read Black Library, novels, books, excerpts, etc., that they may want to just make sure they haven't already read what's in here. But overall, looks cool. Definitely exciting. Total bummer to find out that it's not going to actually be out for Halloween. Now, again, I don't know what is going on with GW lately. If this is just them trying to get stuff out that's delayed, if they're trying to just announce stuff way in advance, it seems like there's just no consistency with anything. A lot of times we will get literally like the announcement of a brand new product we've never even knew was coming, and it's like on the pre-order list. And then sometimes we'll get a preview like this where it's literally months in advance. So it makes it very, very hard to like plan out your purchases, have an idea what exactly you're interested in, what you're excited in. And, for those of us that do limit or have limited hobby dollars that we could spend, it's nice to be able to kind of like plan out the path. So when we're expecting, for instance, something like the Kill Team scenario, where we have a 1 year season of Kill Team with 4 total boxes, you would expect the first box comes out and then there to be a roughly 3 month gap, not a 6 week gap. So there's definitely some stuff going on here. Obviously, it would make way more sense if GW had these ready to go right now. It would make way more sense to space out your box sets because you're essentially cannibalizing your own sales. The truth is, and I don't want to get too deep in it right now, but in my opinion, GW right now is completely flooding the marketplace with products, like all different products. Not just miniatures, not just games, terrain, books. I mean, they're literally flooding it with everything. And my main issue with this is that they're doing a great job pumping out new stuff for people to buy, but they're not doing a great job finding new people to buy that stuff. So they really need to work on customer acquisition and customer retention, because those are clearly 2 massive issues. We did have a lot of new people come into the hobby over the last couple of years. Obviously, it was convenient, it was cool, it was a big burst for GW. But to tell you the truth, if this bubble is not going to pop, they need to really, really reevaluate their situation. Figure out that releasing more stuff or selling more stuff is not always going to be a good thing. It's going to end up cannibalizing sales. And we can already see it happening with a lot of the big box sets and stuff that have come out. They are massively discounted. The biggest thing I have noticed lately is the moment GW drops something from its online store, the prices all over the internet drop by like 20%. So you can normally find stuff pretty reasonably for around 15-20% pretty regularly while it's in the GW store. It seems like as soon as a lot of these big boxes leave the GW store, they're no longer carrying them, that it lifts the ability for them to price it however they want, because normally they can only sell it so cheap or advertise it so cheap. So a lot of these stores or liquidators are literally just dropping the price just to get rid of all this stuff. And right now, Warhammer's not cheap, but you can find a lot of new stuff right now for pennies on the dollar. So if you spend a little time and look around the internet, there's people arbitraging the price differences from the UK into United States and Europe. There are people, picking up liquidation lots, just massive lots of boxes that haven't been selling, and there are tons and tons of discounts. So But anyway, let me know what you think about these books. Are you excited about any of them? Would you be more likely to pick up one of these books if they were available, like now before Halloween? Or does it not really matter? You're not really a seasonal type person like I am. I'm always curious, always like to hear you guys' opinions. If you did enjoy today's video, if you're into reactions, reviews, and news, painting, modeling, conversion tutorials for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, Horus Heresy, pretty much any of Games Workshop or its affiliates, make sure to like and subscribe. It's absolutely free and really helps out the channel. But that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.